Hello crafters and welcome to another video from my Christmas series, and today I'm featuring stamps by Purple Onion Designs, and these are brand new stamps and I'm so happy that I can share them with you. This is one of the new stamps. It's called a Birch House, and when I saw it I immediately fell in love with it. I just had to have it, and I'm so happy that I get to use it today. I started out by stamping this stamp onto a piece of watercolor cardstock, and this is a piece, this is an acrylic block, and this is tack and peel that I put onto it. Tack and peel is like a thick adhesive. It's like a solid thick adhesive, and you put it permanently onto your acrylic block, and you can mount rubber stamps on it without putting anything else on the rubber stamps, which allows you to keep them really nice and flat. So I'm absolutely delighted to have discovered this, and I think I'll be using that in the future with all of my rubber stamps that are not mounted. It's really awesome. You can see me using my Stamp-A-Magic here. It's this green handle and this clear piece of acetate, which you reuse. You don't throw it away, you reuse it, you just wipe it off. And you stamp onto the acetate, and you get the impression of your stamp. Now, you don't move the stamp on your acrylic block, so it's always in the same position. And what you do then is you take this piece of acetate. I have marked where I need to stamp it. You line it up exactly where it needs to go because you can see through it. It's like almost like a clear stamp, right? You can see through that. Once you know where it's supposed to go, you bring the handle back, you slide it in here, you take this away, and then you bring back the acrylic block with the stamp. And since everything is in the same position as it was before, you are able to stamp precisely where it needs to go. That's the magic of a stamp positioner. Now I'm using my colored pencils, my Polychromos pencils, and I have listed all the pencils on my blog for the image that I'm using. And I've talked about this before in several videos, and I will link this video to the playlist I have about colored pencils, that I think the most important part is to work in layers. So I'm starting out with my darkest color and just applying it lightly where the darkest areas would be, and then I'm starting to shade it out with lighter colors. And you can see here, this is about on my third, I think I'm on my third layer here. I put on the darkest, added a middle tone, and then I'm going over with the lightest. So I have some texture and dimension to this little house. Sorry I didn't really do the chimney, but I just did the same part there. But now for the leaves, that was really fun. I'm starting out with my darkest green. I'm using several shades of green here. Again, they're all listed on my blog if you're interested. And I'm putting the darkest green where the leaves are tucked under the other leaves. And so the leaves which are on top would cast a shadow on the leaves below. So that's where I'm putting my shadows, my darkest green, and again, I'm working in layers. I went over this numerous times. This takes a while, but I think the effect is really worth it. You can see me here coming in with a mid-tone green and just extending this a little bit. And then I'm coming in with my lightest shade and blending this out, as you can see me do here. And like, if it's not completely perfect, I'm not worried about this because, like I said, most of the times I will go over this at least a second time, if not even a third time. You have to decide for yourself if on these smaller images this is worth your time or not. Then I grabbed a dark gray marker, and I'm just applying a tiny line of gray where the leaves would be tucked under, just to increase the contrast and to deepen the shadows. Now for the background, some of you have asked me if I ever use blending solution to blend colored pencils, because I usually do it just with the pencils. Yes, I use blending solution for the background. You can see me here applying different shades of blue and purple for the background, and this is my first layer of color. I'm only applying it very lightly, and now I'm going back and then applying a second coat of the same color, and I have increased the pressure slightly. I'm not pressing down as hard as I possibly could. I'm just increasing the pressure so I get more color down. And my goal is to get a nice coating of this color so I can then go ahead and blend the colors into each other. You can see here it looks really, really awful, but don't worry, I'll be fixing that. Now for the blending, I'm using Zested. That's the thing that I can find here in Germany, and I think it's common in Europe. You in the US would probably use Gamsol or baby oil. And I actually have a huge refill bottle, sorry, um, uh, that I showed you really shortly. Sorry for that. And I have this tub with a sponge in it, so I just refill that, dip my paper nib thingy thing in there, and then I blend this out. So you can see me always dipping the paper stump into the solution and then blending this out. And in between, I'm actually wiping off the paper stump on a piece of scratch paper to the side, so I won't transfer too much of the dark ink into the lighter area. I actually could have just, probably started with the lightest area, but for some reason I didn't. But you can see here what looks really, really ugly after 2 layers of color and just the pencils becomes a really nicely blended and smooth background once you apply the blending solution. And I personally feel that this works best if you have paper that is a little bit thicker and that withstands the moisture of the blending solution, because my paper, like I keep dipping my paper nub in that blending solution. Like it's not dripping wet, but it's definitely wet. It's not just moist. I personally used the Torchon watercolor paper, Torchon by Hanemühle, but if you would use, for example, the Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock, that probably would work just as fine. Just try different papers that are a little bit rough and see what results you have. And you can see me here. This is after I went around the entire background. I am blending this in and just smoothing out some of the edges so it doesn't look too like the colors, so that the colors are blended in a little bit better. You can see me doing that here with the flat side of the paper stump. And I think that worked out rather nicely. I know the edge sound looks bad, but don't worry about it. Now to lighten the highlights, I'm using my white pencil to apply that to the leaves. You can't really make it white, but you can lighten it a tiny little bit. So that's what I'm doing here. Now for the back, you can see that I'm applying a very generous amount of little foam squares here. You can also just cut down foam tape. I don't even know why did I use that? Oh yeah, you'll see that in a minute. Anyhow, I'm applying a really generous amount of foam squares here, making sure this is adhered really well. And then this is how it goes on top. You can see me here putting this is a second piece of watercolor cardstock where I cut this frame out, and then I am wrapping a whole lot of twine around there, or maybe it's yarn or it's thread, I don't even know, like really thin thingies here. So, and I'm tying the knot in the back, just making sure that I'm tying a safe knot so it will not come apart. So I'm double knotting it. And then I made the bow separately, and then just putting a glue dot behind it, and I'm adding that to the center here. Because tying a really pretty bow and having the string go around the card, well, it just doesn't work. I added a little sequin to that bow, and now I grab my Wink of Stella and I'm applying, I think it's a total of 3 coats of Wink of Stella to this white area so it will glisten. It's really, really hard to see on camera, but in real life, I'm telling you, this stuff sparkles like crazy. It's really, really awesome. I hope the person that gets this card will enjoy that. Then I'm using a sentiment stamp, and I'm stamping it with VersaFine ink. And I wanted a small sentiment because I didn't want to distract from the coloring, which I think turned out rather well. And now I'm just gluing this to the back of a white card base. It's a top folding white card base. And by the way, this frame here was cut with the W+9 Sunshine frame die. Just being very careful and not to smudge the ink after all the work I've put into this. And of course, you know me, it wouldn't be my card if I wouldn't add some dots to it. So I grabbed my Stardust Jelly Roll pen. Like, Stardust Jelly Roll pens are the best invention ever. So, and you might not really see that here, but again, oh my god, it sparkles in real life. You wouldn't believe it. But since it wasn't quite so clear, no pun intended, I grabbed my white gel pen and added some white dots. This is this Signal Broad white gel pen, and just added some dots here and there around the Stardust dots. And it almost looks like falling snow. I realized that I realized that after the fact that it looks like snow. You would think that would be the first thought that comes to my mind, to add snow, but no, not my brain. So here's a close-up. You can see the gorgeous sparkle I created with the Wink of Stella. This is just a few coats of Wink of Stella. And here's my fake bow. Yay! Looks awesome. Here's the coloring that I did, and you can also see the sparkle from the Stardust glitter pen in the background. And really this gorgeous blended background adheres the entire card. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you check out the Purple Onion Design stamps. I'll catch you again soon. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know what you think in the comments. Cheers!